Here we are at the, for now, final part of my series on sapphic films that won't break your heart because it has a happy ending for the ladies, or at least an uplifting one. I haven't seen the majority of these films thanks to those of you who took the time to make recommendations, so let's discover them together. First up, we have Ellie, Abby, and Ellie's Dead Aunt, which looks like a cute, quirky rom-com where teenager Ellie is crushing hard on Abby and wants to take her to the formal. This prompts her to come out to her mum, whose response isn't the enthusiastic acceptance she'd hoped for. Off the emotional turmoil of that, her dead aunt suddenly appears to her and is determined to help her navigate this difficult period. This Australian production boasts some familiar faces, like the mum who plays Sapphic as the titular character in the series Janet King, the love interest who played Queer on Wentworth, the dead aunt who played Queer in a film I covered in the last part of the series all about E, and I have to give a shout out to fellow Kiwi Rachel House who, as far as I know, hasn't played Queer but has voiced the grandma in Moana, appeared on the pretty darn queer show Our Flag Means Death, and was also in one of my favourite New Zealand films, Hunt for the Wilder People, which you should totally check out. This one goes on my list for sure. Then we have Idle Thoughts, a Canadian low-budget film that is set in my adoptive town of Vancouver, which, I'll be honest, has me more excited than anything else about this film. It's about a young woman, Poppy, who has perfected the art of laziness and one-night stands. That is, until she meets Elaine, who pushes her to deal with her writer's block. In order to do so, she must try being in a relationship, and I'm guessing the relationship goes well. There is a free copy of the film on YouTube, which I have linked in the description in case you want to check it out. Along Came Wanda is another low-budget film that is available on YouTube, so again, link in the description. Mary Beth is in the progress of divorcing her husband, exacerbated by the pandemic. Her kid is grown up, and she's not clear about what her path is. When a virtual stranger, Wanda, invites her to come on a road trip in her tiny home van, Mary Beth throws caution to the wind and says yes. So begins a journey to discovering who she is and what she wants. I started watching this a long time ago and didn't finish it. It wasn't for me, but I didn't have to see the end to know that it ended well for the ladies. For something a little different, Breaking the Ice is an Austrian film from 2022 that centers Mira, who plays ice hockey, partly as a way to escape from the pressures of running her family vineyard. When a new player arrives on the team, she finds herself challenged in more ways than one, forcing her to face her rigid worldview. From the trailer, it looks like it's a good film. I jumped over to the website Just Watch to see where it was available, and it looks like it is readily available in Austria and, of all places, Australia. But if you're not in those places, you may need to do some digging or, use the must-have tool for sapphic film and TV watching on the internet, a VPN, to see if you can watch it that way. I have a link in the description should you need one. This next one looks promising if the over 7 million views on the film is anything to go by. I have it linked for you in the description. And from the trailer, this looks like a genuinely good, beautiful and meditative film. When Jenna struggles to write her wedding vows, she must face her deepest fears and anxieties about not being good enough for her bride-to-be, Robin. And then the IMDb write-up says, when they arrive at their secluded fairy tale venue, sinister forces besiege them, threatening to tear them apart. So, sounds like there is a bit more to this movie. It is also labelled as a horror, which I didn't necessarily get from the trailer, but I might just ignore my general avoidance of the horror genre for this one. Okay, this next one came to me as a surprise because I have been led to believe, based off the research I have done, that Desert Hearts in 1985 was the first lesbian film with a happy ending, and this Canadian film would seem to prove that quite wrong. By Design is a 1981 film about a lesbian couple who work together as fashion designers who want nothing more than to have a child together, and in order to do that, they must find themselves a sperm donor. They set their eyes on their photographer, but things are not smooth sailing. Hello, editing me here. As I was collecting clips for this part of the video, I had to scan the movie and I came across some stuff. And based off what I saw, I feel like I want to remove this entire section because it feels like it's a happy ending technically, but the journey to get there is rage-inducing. Not only do we have a reprehensible sperm donor who is sexist and sexually harasses the women in his workplace, but he gets off with a light tap on the hand and then he gets to sleep with the lesbians. Yes, indeed. We see both lesbian women having sex with men in order to get pregnant, which, I don't know, have they heard of a turkey baster? Meanwhile, the two women don't appear to have a single kiss from the quick scrub through that I did. And then both women get pregnant. One of them has a stillborn, and I don't know who wrote this movie, but thanks, I hate it. Still, it does have a happy ending in the sense that they end up with the child they so wanted and they end up together. Anywho, back to the video. I have found a low-quality version of the film, link in the description. Catskin is a film from 2017 that looks at a shy teen, Kat, who retreats into her photography as she struggles with homophobic bullying and a mother in hospital. When the popular girl April discovers that Kate has made her the subject of a photography project, this leads to a friendship that blossoms into more. However, April has problems of her own, an overbearing mother and a possessive boyfriend. The possessive boyfriend does put me off somewhat, but it could be a decent indie film to check out. I'm on a roll here because I have a link for that one too. The next one I don't have a link for because it's the 2023 film Driveaway Dolls, which apparently has a happy ending. From the trailer, it looks like it's a wild road trip movie where two sapphic ladies, tired of their lives, decide to drive to Florida, and to save money doing so, they sign up to deliver a car to its destination. Only the car they are driving belongs to some bad men who are doing illegal things, and these bad men are now after them. My mum saw this one and thought it was great and recommended I watch it for this channel, which probably means, knowing my mum, it's got some naughty humour in there somewhere. And it would also seem like some romance that ends well too. This next one looks like a comedy movie with a twist, where three best friends who live and make music together are given the opportunity of a lifetime when some music bigwigs want them to show them some demos of their music. Only they don't have the demos and don't have the money to make it, unless one of them gets access to their trust fund, and that requires them to get married. So they decide to get married to each other. Yes, all three of them, since as far as they're concerned, they're already family. This doesn't lead to a poly situation, although one of them is bi, and she has a girlfriend, which causes issues when the trio's family start showing up and they have to explain why they have other partners, and probably also why they're all married to each other. While it looks like it's a slick production, the two lone 1-star ratings on IMDb suggests that this is not good. So I guess watch at your peril, but I'm guessing it ends well for the sapphics. This next one is a Tubi original, which looks like it could be a decent watch. Riley is the first girl on her American football team, which pushes her not just physically, but mentally as she deals with the pushback from people around her. While the stress of going to state championship is mounting, things are further complicated for her when she meets Paige, and she begins to develop feelings for her, forcing her to deal with her sexuality in an environment that might not be accepting of it. Now, the next few I will cover briefly. Go Fish, the art house black and white film from the 90s about Max, who is reluctant to go on a date with a girl, but when her friends convince her to go, she finds she likes her. Between two women that I feel I've mentioned a bazillion times at this point, a teacher and a mother of one of her students develop feelings for each other in 1950s England. I have a link in the description to the movie. Late Bloomers, about a teacher and the principal secretary who grow close and discover they are in love, leading to one of them leaving their husband and kids. It causes something of a stir within the school. I also have a link to this movie in the description. Bobby's Girl, where a lesbian couple running a pub on the Irish coast find themselves responsible for their nephew when he is orphaned, while also dealing with a cancer diagnosis. It ends well, and I also have a link to this in the description, although it's a low-quality version of the film. This last one doesn't have a happy sapphic ending, but it is an uplifting movie. Grey Matters is a rom-com where a brother, Sam, and the sister Grey, who are also best friends and roommates, decide it's high time they find themselves partners. When out at the dog park, they meet Charlie, and they are both charmed. When romance blossoms between Sam and Charlie, Grey finds herself feeling jealous, and while at first she assumes it's because she feels she's losing Sam to this relationship, things turn serious when Sam and Charlie get engaged, and through the wedding preparations to which Grey is to be bridesmaid, she realizes her jealousy is because she's attracted to Charlie, which makes things a little complicated. I watched this many years ago and I personally enjoyed it. It's very much in the rom-com wheelhouse, although it doesn't end the way we sapphics may want. Grey does, however, figure out that she's gay, so that is a win in my books. So there we go, we got to 105 movies with happy endings, some of them admittedly happier than others, and some movies most definitely better than others. This list isn't exhaustive, and you never know, as I discover more content, I may very well add new parts to this series, or to my sister series on TV shows that have a happy ending that I made a while back. Therefore, keep the recommendations coming, because this list was largely thanks to those of you who left me suggestions in the comments. Thank you. Until next time, lady lovers.